One of the final steps in finishing the cyberpunk city was building a sort of base of operations where you could store gear and set your spawn. I helped out Brun only a little with the initial build. After the hide and seek event, however, the perfectionist I am, I thought the building could use a little more decoration and texturing, so I took it upon myself to texture the entire exterior and build a nice interior. So if you've taken notice, either by the way I play the game or by my videos, you might notice that I am kind of a perfectionist when it comes to builds. Like, there's a certain threshold that I'll allow one of my builds to be before I'll just let it be. And this build, originally it was pretty decent. Brun and I kind of just threw it up really quick, and it was a pretty decent build, but I felt that it needed a couple of little details. So instead of just being a solid sandstone wall, I added some end stone bricks for texture and some of the other sandstone variants, like the chiseled and the cut sandstone. The goal wasn't to change the build. It was to keep the fundamental like structure of the build, just slightly improve it. I felt that the second floor wasn't being utilized to its full potential, so I decided to move the beds. The beds were, they were here just in rows, and that kind of took up a lot of the room. So you'd have people like running back and forth to the bed. I kind of wanted to move the beds out of the way, so I put them upstairs, and I think it's a good utilization of the space. There is another floor. There's a third floor above, but it's completely empty. If we need the extra space, I can put in a staircase right here, and then you can go up to the third floor. I can just remove these row beds, because we're never going to need this many beds. I tried to stick the original block palette as much as I could. When we first put up the build, we just used whatever was left over in the like materials hub that was on this wall. So it ended up being a sandstone building, and then Brun put all these like black stone lines, these slab lines. Some of them are deep slate, but I believe I suggested that we fill the area between the lines with color to kind of, I don't know, to kind of add something, and I think it worked pretty good. One of my final contributions to the city was kind of walking around and filling in some of the roads with vehicles. Like I did this pink convertible. This one is kind of like a Hummer kind of thing, like the classic yellow Hummer. Got another Cybertruck looking thing over here. My favorite that I did is this van, which is the van from the A-Team. This six-wheeled truck, this lime SUV, I did a couple of these. This kind of Lamborghini-styled sports car. This very large truck kind of design. And the biggest and most time-consuming vehicle I did was definitely this garbage truck, which is really, really cool. And it actually harbors a secret, which if you watched the PvP event, you would have seen. I actually designed it to have a little hiding spot inside. Little secret. And last but not least, this kind of hot rod looking vehicle. So this is supposed to be the police impound, this lot. So I wanted a vehicle that was kind of like up on blocks, no wheels, kind of like sitting in the corner in the police impound. So, my final contribution to the city, if we go around this corner, is this giant building right here. It came a little late, as we've already done 2 events in the city, so I don't know how much action this build will see. I mean, I'm sure eventually we'll do more events here, but for the time being, I think it's we're kind of done with the city for a little bit. So the inspiration behind this build is when I was editing the Capture the Flag video, I had an idea for a bit to do kind of like a sports newscaster, like sitting in a newsroom and then have like the gameplay footage in the top corner and like commentate over it. But I didn't have time to put up this build before then, so I ended up not doing it. But maybe in the future, I can do that. But this is supposed to be like a news building. These pipes, I'm not really sure what these are. They're just kind of like pipes, and then we've got these like machines on the side of the building. And at the very top, we've got satellite dishes. Got these 2 dishes. So the inspiration behind this build was kind of like, so I wanted to take like an old building. Like theoretically, this would be one of the oldest buildings in the city. And then over the years, they kind of retrofitted it to suit whatever needs they had. But before we take a look inside, let's look across the street here. This area was kind of blank, just nothing going on. I didn't want to cover the Among Us memorial or whatever this is. So I left that spot kind of open. But I got this balloon vendor here, which is actually me. And then this is K-Man. And we've got like a balloon floating away, which Brun actually suggested, and I thought was a really good idea. And then I copied these light boards from over there. On the other side of the city, there's light boards kind of like this. So yeah, I did that to kind of fill this little space here. And then I wanted like a kind of like a garden. I was gonna put cherry leaves outside this build, but it didn't look right. So I ended up going with this kind of fence and this garden. And then we've got like steam coming up from the subway. And it's kind of like killing the grass and the plants around the vent because it's too hot. On this side, I just copied the parking that Brun did next to this build. You kind of got these like parking spaces. I just added some more just to kind of fill this space because the space left over wasn't a square. But let's take a look inside. The benefit of designing this build after the fact of playing the games is you kind of know what you want in the city for the future. Like if we played again, either the hide and seek or the capture the flag, we kind of know what we want in terms of a hiding spot or a base of operations. So you can kind of build stuff with that in mind. So we've got all these like little secrets in this build. So like if you're being chased, like let's say you're being chased by somebody from this direction, you can kind of run over here into this building, run up the stairs, and then instead of continuing upstairs, you can like run outside this window and then go around, or so the bottom floor is kind of like it's kind of like these like meeting rooms, I guess, or like private rooms. You can like, I don't know, you can like come into the building and just rent these like private rooms to have a meeting or whatever. You got like a receptionist. And then the second floor is like a cafe. See, this entire build, I designed in creative mode, and I actually designed it from the top down. So the very top floor is the newsroom, and then everything on the lower floors was designed like I designed the top floor first, and then the floor below, and then the floor below, and so on. So the bottom floor it was actually designed last, so that one was kind of just thrown together. But this one's like a cafe, and this window, there's a way out. You could climb up here. You could go, around, jump to the air conditioner, or jump down to the power line, and then go across. I've got all these like different ways to go around the build. And this is something that, I mean, it's not really a secret because you can just come here and look at it, but every single floor of this building has uh secret passages in between. So each floor is actually 3 blocks thick, and you can traverse between each floor, and each floor has like a different maze pattern. And you can drop down to the lower floor, and kind of get away from people. And this is something else that was a result from the PvP game. So we kind of needed a place to dump gear that we collected from people we killed. So I put a couple of chests on the bottom floor. This floor is supposed to be like a research office for the news team. Got all these like reporters working on their different stories. They'd work down here in the newsroom, in the computer room. See, we got another window here. You can go out onto the roof. You can go around the side of the build. Okay, next floor. This was kind of another idea I had for a bit. Was to have like a green screen space for stuff. I don't know if I'll actually use it, but it's here now. Got like a camera. I stole this camera from B00's courtroom video. I paused the video and I built this camera. This is like a waiting space for guests. Like the next guest on the talk show or whatever. Next is the top floor. The whole idea that made me build this entire thing was to build this kind of sports, like I wanted it to be like a sports analyst news room kind of deal. We've got this very like patriotic set background. We've got a camera here. We've got screen. These are supposed to be screens. I never put in the map art, but these are supposed to be screens for the producers to look at. And we've got the stairs over here. And then above we got the lighting. But yeah, the idea is to like do something like this. And then I've got this mod that lets me drop the camera. So then I can do like I can do some kind of like bit. Some kind of like sports analysis kind of thing. I thought would be really funny. And that was like the main purpose of this build, was just for this one room, and then I built everything else with this idea in mind. So I didn't even do this on purpose, but the 3 tallest buildings in the city are actually all mine. The construction site is by far the tallest with the crane. Then it's the news station with its little spire up there. It's just barely taller than the police station. And obviously the police station is third. So that's it for the city. The city is now done. Fully done. Like, I have no more additions planned for the city. I didn't even plan on doing this building, but I just wanted to fill the empty space. All the events have been done. Hopefully, in the future, we do more city events, because the 2 city games we played were really fun. But that's it from me regarding the city. This is Cloud from GG News, signing off.